Today, I want to share with you 5 short readings, one for each day of the week, from one of the greatest spiritual writers of the Orthodox Church, Saint Theophan the Recluse. These come from his book Thoughts for Each Day of the Year, and I promise you, every single one of them will land differently than you expect. So, the first spiritual pill. The first reading opens with a verse from the second epistle of Peter and the Gospel of Mark. And Saint Theophan goes straight to the point. He says, if someone comes to you and tells you that Christ is here, meaning in some assembly, some group, some movement outside the church, do not believe them. Do not believe them. Do not even go and check. Because the church founded by the apostles with Christ as its head and ruler is already established on this earth. It is here. Christ is not somewhere out there waiting to be discovered in a new place. He is in his holy church. He is in his holy church, in the sacraments, in the community that has held this faith from the beginning. And so when you hear someone saying, Christ is in me, while at the same time shunning the Orthodox Church and its pastors, know that another spirit is speaking. So recognize, Saint Theophan says, all such people for what they are, instruments of seducing spirits and lying preachers of falsehoods. Do not be moved by them. Not even by small things that seem to come from Christ. If it pulls you away from his church, it is not from him. It is not from him. So the second spiritual pill. The second reading takes the image of a thief in the night from 2 Peter and the Gospel of Mark. And Saint Theophan uses it to shake us awake. He says something like this: the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night. A thief does not announce himself. He does not give you time to prepare. He comes when he is not expected, and by the time you realize it, it is already done. And then Saint Theophan asks the quiet question that should stop us cold. So what are we doing right now? Are we watching? Are we waiting? Or are we just living from one day to the next as if the Lord is never actually coming? He says we must confess honestly that we are not watching, that we do not think about it, we do not feel it, we scarcely wonder about it at all. Our fathers and forefathers waited too, and the Lord did not come in their days. So we have inherited their waiting and turned it into forgetfulness. But the Lord's coming, whenever it is, will be like lightning from one end of the universe to the other. It will be sudden, total, and final. And Saint Theophan's word to us is simple. Keep the thought of that day alive in you, every single day. Lest we allow such negligence, he says, that we are completely unprepared for meeting him. The third spiritual pill. The third reading comes from 1 John and Mark, and Saint Theophan turns our attention to the act of waiting. But this time, active waiting. He describes how the governor waited for Pilate. An hour, and then another hour, and then they told him he was not coming, and he accepted it and went home. He waited, he persevered, he adjusted, and Saint Theophan says the day of the Lord will work the same way, whether it comes or not on any given day, whether we are watching or not. The day will come, and our words, our deeds, our inner life, none of it will pass away. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away, says the Lord. So the question is not whether that day is coming, The question is whether we are ready for it or whether we will be taken unawares. And Saint Theophan gives us the key to that readiness. Keep in mind, every instant that the Lord is about to appear, like lightning, like a thief, like something utterly sudden, and shine that awareness into every thought and feeling and intention you have all day, one thing at a time. The fourth spiritual pill. The fourth reading from 1 John. The world passeth away, and the last thereof is one of the most honest diagnoses of the human condition ever written. Saint Theophan takes this verse and holds it up like a mirror. He says, "Who does not see this? Everything around us is passing. People pass away. Events pass away. The satisfaction of everything we chase passes away. And we scarcely taste it before we are already running after the next thing. We chase something and it passes. We chase another thing and it also passes. And we go on like this, restless, never still, never full. But Saint Theophan says there is one thing that does not pass, the will of God. The will of God. It is unshakable. It is indestructible. It endures forever. And the person who begins to live inside the will of God, who fixes himself to it the way a house is fixed to bedrock, that person begins to find the same stability in himself. His thoughts settle down. His intentions become clear. He stops chasing, and little by little, as Saint Theophan says, everything he has, both within and without, comes into quiet harmony and a serene, unperturbable peace. That is what the will of God produces in human life, and it is available to every one of us. Now the next pill, the next spiritual pill, the fifth spiritual pill. The fifth and the final reading comes from 2 Timothy and the Gospel and also from the Gospel of Luke. And Saint Theophan gives us one of the sharpest portraits in all his writings. The person who has a form of godliness but is never able to come to the knowledge of the truth, he is describing, in this way he is describing people who are religiously active. They go to church, they use the right words, they follow the external routines, but something inside has never actually submitted. There is no real inner life. There is no will of God being sought. And Saint Theophan contrasts these people with another kind. Those who maintain all the inner dispositions of a truly godly life, who stand before God, who do not just attend church, but are genuinely present before Him, who make the effort to keep their hearts in order even when everything around them demands otherwise. These are not spectacular people, they are steady, and their steadiness over time becomes something unshakable. Saint Theophan says, begin here, do not chase answers, do not invent questions, stop the restlessness. Enter the will of God, today, in this moment, in whatever church and life and set of circumstances God has placed you, and stay there in the Orthodox Church. And those are the 5 readings, 5 pills from one of the greatest physicians of the soul the Church has ever given us. The first tells us where Christ is. The second wakes us up. The third teaches us to wait with full attention. The fourth shows us what passes and what endures. And the fifth calls us to stop performing religion and start living it from the inside out in the will of God, one day at a time. God bless you. See you next time.